This is the Telemetry Transportation Daily for April 15th, 2025, and I'm Sam Abul-Samad, Vice President of Market Research for Telemetry. As the trade war instigated by President Donald Trump intensifies, China has opened a new front in the conflict: magnets, specifically rare earth magnets. While the Trump administration wants to cut off as much of the flow of imports into the U.S. as possible, the reality is that for the foreseeable future, we and most of the rest of the world remain highly dependent on certain imports, among those being rare earth magnets. This is a class of permanent magnets that are manufactured from so-called rare earth metals like neodymium, samarium, and cobalt. Despite the name, many of these materials are actually quite abundant, but are dispersed throughout the Earth's crust rather than concentrated in ores like gold, silver, or iron. As a result, extraction and processing of these metals into useful form is more challenging. Like so many other things, rare earth magnets were developed as part of basic research programs here in the U.S., but as the utility of these magnets has become more apparent in recent decades, China has taken on much of the processing that produces these magnets. More than 90% of the global supply of rare earth magnets now comes from China. This is important because rare earth magnets are much stronger than traditional ferrite magnets, which allows for the production of smaller, lighter electrical machines that are used in everything from cars to refrigerators. While these magnets are widely used in the electric motors for many EVs, they are also used in virtually every modern vehicle because so many components are now electrically actuated. This includes power steering systems, brakes, seat adjusters, windows, and more. Without a steady supply of these magnets, much of the industrial production around the world would grind to a halt, and China knows this. Thus, China has cut off exports for these magnets as well as 6 other rare earth metals unless the companies have a specific export license, and that could take at least 6 weeks before exports can resume. While manufacturers have some stockpiles of these magnets and materials, it's unclear how long those would last before supply disruptions start. While companies like General Motors have invested in domestic rare earth production, that still only accounts for a tiny portion of what is needed. Until these efforts ramp up, manufacturers in the U.S. and elsewhere will remain as dependent on China as we were on OPEC for oil in the 1970s and 80s. There will need to be some cooperation and negotiation sooner rather than later to avoid major disruptions. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow.